Well, that's goodbye Chama Trails Motel. I've enjoyed that, really comfortable. Man, this little town is so spread out. I've got over a mile to walk here to get to where I need to be. Hopefully when I get there I'll have a surprise for you all, so stick around. Right, before I show you my surprise, I just want to tie things up from the other day when I got a hitch. I got to Cumbres Pass about 10 past 2 and I was in Chama for 20 to 3, that's including the ride, so half an hour. I just want to say a big thank you to this lovely couple from Colorado who were section hiking the CDT. So we had a lot to talk about because obviously I've done 300 odd miles of the CDT in Colorado. In fact, with me completing this the other day, I've done 500 miles of the CDT already, blimey. So this is me in Chama. I've just walked a mile from my accommodation to the centre of Chama, and this is my surprise. See if you can guess what I'm going to do. Go on, I'll show you a little bit to the right. Now I've done this online, and I think I might have made a mess up, so I'm just going to try and sort it out. If I haven't sorted it out, I shall give you some more info. Yep. I'm waiting for my lift back to Cumbres Pass, or rather I'm going to Osier Station, but more of that in a minute. But oh, it's a bit bright. Here we go. Get in. There's a train just coming in now. Okay, that's my surprise. This is one thing that I really wanted to do before I even left home. The train I'm going on, it's an old type steam train. You know, I've got to do it. Now it runs from Chama, where I am now, up to Osier Station. From Osier Station I can then, there's an all-inclusive, all-you-can-eat buffet breakfast involved in with this as well. And oh man, look at that old thing. And from there I then jump on a different trail which is only about 5 miles long, which takes me south, this trail here, and then from there I jump back onto the CDT for only about 3 miles, I think, 3 or 4 miles, which then takes me back to the trail that I need to be on. So it's only, when I get off of this train and have my breakfast, I've only got 8 miles back to trail rather than 17. Plus, I've got to show you this, look. Now I don't know whether that's my train because I've got an hour to wait because I always get here early. But I've got my ticket, I've got a carriage seat, and I'll show you more when it arrives. That might be mine because it's on the line. It's on the same line I've been told to wait for. The glacier could not push past through this pass. So this is the Chama Glacial Valley. Well, that wasn't a bad dinner actually. And there's the little train that I came in on. And now I'm heading up there. I think I've already said most of this, but if I'm repeating myself, I apologise. I've got 8 miles hiking now to get me back onto the next Northern New Mexico loop hike. 5 miles of this, which is the Osier Spur, that's Osier Station behind me, and then about 3 mile on the CDT going southwards, obviously, to pick up the Northern New Mexico Trail. And then I am then heading around 60 mile to Questa, which is my next trails town. But I do have to find my way across the Rio Grande again. There's no bridge, so I've literally got everything crossed in the next 2 days, because it is forecast thunderstorms and rain showers, that it's not flooded. There is a workaround, but it's really going to be inconvenient, and I'll have to cut a lot of the trail out that I really want to see. But anyway, let's assume that I can get across. Right, let's have a look. My first water crossing of the day, about 1.5 miles in. If that's cooled my feet down. This section looks pretty good for water. Most of the water that I looked at, like I say, the next 60 miles appears to be running creeks and streams, so see how that goes. That's the train I came in on to Osier Station. I believe its final destination is Antonio up in Colorado, where it stays. And then if you book the full ticket, what you do, you stop at Osier Station, get your all-you-can-eat dinner, then jump back on that train. Obviously I didn't. That goes to Antonio, then you get off at that final stop and you jump on a coach, and then a coach brings you back to Chama. Lovely, really nice experience that. Right, that's where I've come from. That is the trail that I took 2 days ago heading north. That's the CDT. And this is the trail, the CDT heading south, which is where I need to go. Another 3 mile and I should be onto the Northern New Mexico loop. So this is where I left the trail 2 days ago. That's the CDT north. That's the CDT south. I spent the night in those little pine trees there, if you remember. And this is the continuation of the Northern New Mexico boot hike. I'm starting to head east. I'm just going to go and sit over there up near that board and sit on that post thing and have 10 minutes to get something to drink. Alright, that last clip when I said I now go up there on that dirt track, I don't. That's completely the wrong way. I'm heading west. And this is where I'm going, look. It's what they call in America cross country. Cross country means, like I've said a few times, no trail. And it's not just a short bit of trail with no trail. I've got miles of this. So it'll take me a little bit longer than what it usually does, because once you're on a trail you just switch off and keep walking. When you're doing something like this, you've got to keep stopping, checking your position, making sure you're on the right bearing, because it's so easy to just drift off. But basically I'm on a bearing right down there where I pick a creek up in about 3 mile. So I need to pick that creek up. So I'll let you know whether I find it. Right, I've just had a good 5 minutes with my map. And it looks like I've got around 11 mile of this, making my own way forward on bearings, because there is no trail. So I need to be ultra careful, watch what I'm doing, and just take my time. Well, I've just cut this trail back at that creek. I think it was called Beaver Creek, and it's going in the general direction I want to go. So, and I'm pretty sure this is not a cow trail, because you don't usually see cows in wilderness areas. This is a wilderness area I forgot to mention. So with a bit of luck, there might be a trail after all, but it's not on the map. It's not showing a trail on the map. We're spitting with rain for about half an hour. That's cleared up, but it's nice and cool. That trail I found, it keeps on appearing and disappearing, so I'm just working on a bearing. I'm basically following Beaver Creek. There's the creek that I'm currently following. That's Beaver Creek. I've pretty much been following that since just after I came into the wilderness area. I follow that for quite a bit now, and then that meets up with another creek called Diablo Creek, which I then follow, which will take me out of the wilderness. I'm currently running away from that. That's the way I've come from, by the way. Up there. That's looking east. Sorry, west. Well, that would be a right cracking rock to practice on. Climbing, that is. I bet our Mason and Jameson would love to have a go at that. Beautiful looking thing. That's where I've come from, right down there. It's about 20 past 8. I'm still in a wilderness area and there's cows everywhere, so it must be allowed. I didn't think they were. Unless it's just this one. Right, I've got, I think that tree line up there, look, top of this little rise, that's the end of the wilderness area. And there's a flattish looking area, and I have been pushing like mad for the last hour to try and get there while it's still light enough. And I should just about do it. Well, I've managed to clear the wilderness. That's good. I think I've just got to go up there now. Probably in them trees. I'm going to try and find some flat spot, see if I can bed down there for the night. The effing hell is that? Freaking alien. Well, I don't know. I'm going to camp here out with him sneaking up on me and grabbing me by the throat. Wherever the hell he is. Good morning. That was my camp spot for last night. I slept really well actually, to say there were bloody coyotes yelping and yapping most of it. I did 16 mile, which I'm quite happy with yesterday. To say I didn't start well 1:30 from the train station. That's where I'm heading out there. It's going to be quite open today. Now I've got, I mentioned earlier, this section is from, well, back there to Questa I'm heading for, which is about 60 mile. But I do have to cross the Rio Grande again. And at the minute it's looking, this crossing is regarded as being a bit easier than the first one I've crossed, because it's a lot narrower, it's a lot further upriver. It's called Sheep's Crossing. But it's thunderstorm season, as I mentioned before. It thunderstormed yesterday, it missed me thankfully. So I want to get there. I'm going to be pushing now because I want to get there as soon as I possibly can and get over there. Because once I'm over there, I'm feeling pretty good. Because there's no detours that I need to take. Because if I can't get across there, I've got a 20-mile detour, and it means my food situation is going to change There's no water on that 20-mile stretch, so I've got fingers crossed that I can get across it. Hopefully I can. If I can, then the rest of the trail is going to be difficult because I've got some mountains to climb. There's thunderstorms coming, like I say, but at least I'm not going to drown in the river, freaking Rio Grande. Right, so I'll catch you in a bit. Well, I've been rock hopping all morning on these little creeks I've been passing. Yeah, not now though. I'm going to get wet feet. Right, I'm at about mile 16. That's for this section. So it's about 8 for the day. But that first, I came out of Cruces Basin Wilderness last night and camped just outside. And the first 3 or 4 miles down them little valleys were absolutely gorgeous. Was not expecting that. Beautiful. Right. Well, that was a nice stop. These cottonwoods, nice and shady. I've just grabbed a litre of water from down there. I go this way now, and I'm heading into the open, where I have been for the last 3 or 4 miles to be fair, but I've got some more cross country coming up, and my water sources are starting to dwindle, shall we say. Well, as you can see, there's no sign of any sort of trail, and that is the mountain that I've got to get up and over, and the last reliable water source is at the bottom of there on this side, and I've got my fingers crossed that that's going to be there, because like I say, as I mentioned a few times before, I'm a month behind most people that do this. If that's dry, I'm buggered, and I mean buggered. I might have a workaround for this problem with the water. That's if there is water. If there is water, I can stock up here with everything I've got, like I say, 7.5 litres, and that's over a stone in weight. And it's the last source where I'm likely to get any water between here and the Rio Grande. Not 100%, but more than likely. And of course I can't get caught out there without water. So what I'm looking at doing, I've just had 5 minutes with my maps near where the first part where the creek is, San Antonio Creek. I can take a shortcut cross country to the right, which would be south, and pick up that forest road that I left earlier. You know where I had that break? And follow that. I mean, it's a good old trailer. There's no water back there, by the way, but, and then that'll bring me to a highway where then I can turn north for 2 mile, which will bring me back to the trail. So by doing that, by circumventing that, I don't have to get up and over San Antonio Mountain, which is going to kill me in this heat. And there's no water on San Antonio Mountain. I mean, there would have been great views from up there, but I need to carry 7.5 litres of water to get me to the Rio Grande. I can't afford to add that great mountain in between as well. But we'll see what the water situation is, because if there's no water here, I'm pretty buggered. Well, there's the river, and it's flowing, so I've got water. Like I said earlier, it's probably my last stop, reliable, until I get to the Rio Grande. My new problem is I've got to find a way down there and then back up again. Problems. I found my way down okay. So now I'm going to fill up everything I've got, which is about 7.5 litre, and then work my way up the other side. That's the dirt road I've just come down, maybe a mile, maybe not that. I had to climb out that little canyon. Man, my legs were trembling climbing out of there with all this weight I've got. And I've rejoined the forest road. So I'm going to follow this now for a good bit until I pick up the highway, and then I turn left on the highway, which is north, for about 2 miles, and that'll pick me up, reconnect me with the trail. I sat and worked it all out down there, and it's about excuse me, from where I left, it's 9 miles, which is a lot, I know, and it's a reroute that I've come up with myself. But if I was to go the recommended route, which is up and over that, that's 7 miles. So I'm only adding 2 miles to my journey, and it's flat. I mean, there's no water on this any more than there is up there as well. The difference is this is pretty flat, so I won't be diking water like I will be trying to climb up and down that, because I will be. And the weight of the pack, I've got 7.5 litres of water in my pack now. That's over a stone. I'm carrying over a stone in water alone, plus 3 days food. This pack is weighing a ton. It would have took me ages to get up and over that. I'd have been stopping every 10 yards. Now it's just a grind in the sun. But what do you do? I need to carry it. I need this water. I need to carry it. Okay, back on official trail. There's the gate I've just come through, and that's the back end of San Antonio Mountain. And literally, I don't know, 40-50 foot up there is the highway. I am now heading right out there, and you can see those mountains in the distance. I'm going to be going through them. But first, let me just say this. I was struggling back there. I mean, it's about 1 o'clock now, and it's red hot. It's red hot. And that pack, like I say, I've got over a stone of weight of water in that pack. I was struggling. I'd got about 2 miles down that road in my 9 mile alternate, and I heard a noise, so I turned around and there's a van coming towards me, a pickup. So I stuck my thumb out. It's an alternate, all right. I stuck my thumb out and it stopped, and there were 2 lovely ladies, Cameron, Nessa, you absolute stars. Bless them. They rearranged all the stuff out of the back so I could get in the cab, throw my rucksack in over the top in the back of the trailer, not the trailer, whatever you call it, at the back there, and they've dropped me off right outside, right back on the trail. Cameron, Nessa, you absolute lovely people, and they were lovely and chatty all the way here. Isn't it great when you bump into the world's nice people? I got emotional. Man, you've no idea how tired I was. But look at this view, eh? Well, look at these. 4 big galvanised tanks full of water, with some smaller buckets over there. I don't think I'm half a mile from the main road. These aren't on my map, hot water is, but I think these are all new. That is where I'm headed, straight out there. And those mountains in the middle, middle of the picture now, that's the Latier Peak Wilderness. And if you come around to the right, just over that shrub, that's Wheeler Peak Wilderness. Once I'm in there, I'm literally just following the mountain range all the way south. But first I've got to get there and get across the Rio Grande. Well, my first one this year. I nearly damn well trod on him. Look at all that rain dropping right on the Rio Grande. I've got to cross there in the morning. Trying to find a campsite, but it's like lava rock everywhere. Everywhere. Oh, there were a right flash of lightning and good crack of thunder there. God damn it. This is like I said, this was the one area that I was concerned about. One, I know there were no water, so getting sunstroke trying to cross it. And two, if there were a thunderstorm, where the hell do you get out of the way? Nowhere. Fingers crossed. I am surrounded by thunderstorms, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the other side of that hill. 6 there. And 7 there. And that's thunder you can hear. This should be interesting night. Well, you probably can't see me, but this has been going on for 2 hours. The lightning is just incredible. It's scary as shit. It's gone 9 o'clock, which is why it's dark. And there's more than one storm. It's like I'm surrounded. Man, this is the exact thing. This is the exact thing I didn't want to freaking go through. Oops, see? They're everywhere. Alright. See you in the morning, hopefully. Well, good morning. What an eventful night that was. That went on for over 3 hours. But I'm here. I'll be heading down there now. The big mountain ranges in Cloud, as you can see. I've got 15 miles to get to the river, which I need to cross. Yeah, good luck with that, Alan, after all that rain last night. Most of the lightning came from there. That's Mount San Antonio, which I was supposed to go up and over. There was a small chance I might have camped up there if I would have took it on and got that tired. God damn, I'm glad I never. But as you can see, it's all really, really open. Not the ideal place to be caught in a damn thunderstorm, but I knew that before I even flew out. But I got caught in one. Right, time to pack up. I shall be in touch later. Look at this. I've just picked a tool track up. What a difference. When I've enjoyed coming across all that rough open land, it does slow you down a bit when you're watching where you're walking and dodging rattlesnakes. Now there's a water source just up here. I don't really need any, but I'm going to check it out and I can leave a comment on the water report for folk. Future reference, see how it looks. Well, they look like the water tanks. I might take some from here. I might have a 10-minute break. I'm due one. The wind's picking up. Well, that's where I'm headed. Right into them mountains. Right in. That's if I can get across the Rio Grande, that is, obviously. Yeah, everything bone dry. The tanks are even empty. I've put the stop valve off. There's got stop valves at the bottom of the tank. I turned them on, both dry. I'm feeling a lot better now for carrying all that water and missing out on that lovely mountain back there though. Gotta be honest. Not what I wanted to do, but I didn't really have a choice. And this water I've got on me is what I carried from right back in that San Antonio Creek, is it? Same water carry. That's a long way. That's the other side of that mountain. Oh, the mountains are calling. Only a couple of miles now before I get to the river, but I need to get over the river to get into them. The alternative is to hike this side of the river, 20 mile, following the river to a bridge, which would mean me missing out on all these. And you see all those clouds? I'll bet they're all thunder clouds later on this afternoon. Well, there's my first look at the canyon, or the gorge, sorry. And I think that's the way down there. Right, let's have a look at the water. Well, I reckon I can get across that where it narrows. Man, that's looking straight forward, but yeah, better keep my mouth shut till I get down there. I'm going to give it a go just before them rapids. I've not changed anything. I'm hoping it's not going to be more than waist high. If it is, I'll have to come back and rearrange everything and just do what I need to do. That was not easy. Those rapids were way too quick. They looked nothing from here, but they were way too quick, and they were probably waist deep. And I wasn't going to get swept away. So I've come up here about maybe 30 yards from the rapids, and I waded over and it came up to my nipples pretty much. But I were a long time testing water. I went down river, up river. I even tried to go, well, a good bit up there. A good bit up there, but I had to swim back. Obviously I didn't have my rucksack on, I just were testing the depth. And it was too deep, so I had to swim back. But anyway, I'm across. I'm now going to load up with water because I've learnt my lesson from last time. And I'm thirsty, and it's about 1:30, and then I've got to find a way out, which is not going to be easy. Ah, man. I mean, just look at the other side, getting down that, but there were a track down there. Not much of one, but something to follow. But anyway, I might die a death through heat exhaustion, but I'm not going to drown. Not at this minute anyway. Whew. That was a steep one. It was a trail. Oh, I'm going to have 5 minutes here, get a drink, and I'll look at my map. Well, the weather's turned, but it were always going to with all those clouds. Not that I really bothered. I've not got a signal at the minute, so I can't. I'm trying to book a room in. Hang on. Don't want to get this camera wet. I'm trying to book a room, but I can't get a signal, and I'm only about 4 or 5 miles out. I might have to go in and knock on the door. Well, what a difference a day makes. 3 hours in the pouring rain yesterday, included a 1.5 mile walk down that highway there in the rain. And this is the morning. This is where I'm staying. I'm having 2 nights here because it's really cheap. The Sangre de Cristo. And there's my little room, number 8. See you later.